already an alien, so it doesn't matter. According to Susan, I'm an alien.
Really?
Join the club.
How fun am I? I don't want to be.
Please.
I want to go back to my home planet. I like my home planet better.
I like here.
What you have to
now.
what you have to realize
Heaven on earth.
is most of us are starseeds. It doesn't mean you're not human. It just means that your soul has energy from other dimensions.
Maybe we
That
should just
I
talk
agree
about
on.
It doesn't mean you're an alien, per se. Like
Welcome to Impromptu Enlightenment. We're talking about. We just started talking, so we're just going to continue the conversation. So go ahead and say what you're saying.
okay, hi, I'm Susan Queen.
I'm Tina Adkins.
Hi, I'm Serafina Krupp.
And we were talking about Susan did a past life. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Did a past life reading on me and told me that I was from a galaxy far, far away.
Whoa!
Like,
Far, far away.
Like Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
How fun!
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and that.
Seriously.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So, but I've had many lives here on this planet,
Absolutely.
and I don't want to go into all the details because I don't want you guys to know me that well. But
Well, it's like, and it's like I was saying, it doesn't necessarily mean we're aliens per se.
We're in these bodies right now.
We're absolutely human.
Exactly.
It just means there's there's an energetic part of us that maybe came from another universe or another system, and that that soul decided to come and experience this planet Earth.
Yeah.
And many of us are, what we call star seeds, are from different, dimensions and galaxies. And like I've said, that they're finding, even science is now finding that there are hundreds more new universes, they said.
Yeah,
that are,
complete
that are,
universes,
they're finding.
right.
They're
Yeah.
finding. And so, who are we to say, we're the only, creatures that are intelligent? I hope not. In our system, So there's probably a lot of intelligent life forms that, we're unaware of.
Actually, I think there's life forms that are more intelligent, and I think they've been
yeah,
helping us
for a
out
long time.
recently.
more
Yeah.
intelligent than us.
Well, actually, I think
Than the
because-
three of us.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
I hope so.
because we
That's
only
speaking for myself.
we use a very small percentage of our brain.
Right,
We do.
right.
And I feel like
Right.
when we transcend and go beyond,
Right.
like in heaven, then we use our full capacity, our full brain, and
Right.
so like.
And there's so much we don't know. I think it's, I feel like, the things, the subjects we talk about here on Impromptu are really to help you expand your horizons, expand, your consciousness and your imagination, and just to, plant seeds of, the possibilities out there and the
Plant seeds.
possibilities that exist.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
Yes.
exactly what we want
Yes.
to do.
So
Well said.
so there we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, and
And sometimes what I find, like when I do a past life reading, like and you can tell me yes or no, but if I do a past life reading on someone, what I find, and this is what I find personally, is that it gives me a sense of peace, because it's
Yeah.
like because our consciousness is constantly growing, whether we're aware of it or not. And so we're always kind of looking, interdimensionally for the answers.
Yeah.
And so I feel like sometimes when there's this fragment that maybe we're searching for, and it doesn't exist here in this life, that when we find it in another dimension or in another lifetime, then it's kind of like you settle in and go, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. And it brings this peace
Yeah, it does.
about you to your heart.
Yeah, and don't you find that like all of us feel like we really don't belong here at one time or sometime in our lives? Like when I was in college, I felt like I did belong here.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
in your readings, when you
When-
read different people.
Absolutely. And when I was probably, I would say in my, when I was in my 20s, I think I went through a symbol where I just was like, I don't belong here. I want to go home.
Right.
And, and then one of my teachers said, you know what, you actually were really, you've been here, many, 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 many lifetimes, and you've also been involved in creating the frequencies of this planet, and it's a beautiful planet, and, and it changed my whole perspective. I stopped, and it did something to me. It did something to my heart, where my heart opened, and I started looking around, Mother Earth, and just went into this appreciation. I went into an appreciation, going, you know what? It's all good. It's good here.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
no matter there's it's a free will planet, so it makes it, I think, complicated for a lot of us who are used to. We're much, speaking for myself, I'm much more attracted to not having conflict, nonviolence. I'm much more attracted to peace. And so for me, I feel there was a level I felt confused, I want to say, because of, the things that would, go on here. But then
And it was disheartening for me.
It
So I
was
was
very.
like, oh my gosh,
It was
I
very.
can't function with all this
And-
crazy.
and
Well,
you know
and
what
see,
I
and that's
found?
our job, though.
Yeah.
That's our let there be peace on earth,
Yeah.
and that as light
To bring
beings,
that.
we chose to bring that,
And it
it's
was
for our
being-
soul growth.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
then I found, that as I when I was going through my process, my journey of just that's all I did was spiritual studies. As that brought a peace and an awareness to me, you can't help but share that. You can't help but share that energy and that love vibration, because really that's what Mother Earth is. Mother Earth is a being. Mother Earth wants to vibrate with love.
It is love.
It does. It just gets complicated because of the free will. But at the same time, what I have found is in my work, I can use that free will to also heal karma, to also free people from, maybe repression, energetic repression from other existences, or even this lifetime or many others. So there's a beauty that there's a certain freedom we have here, and I think that's why many souls tend to migrate here, to experience the physical, to experience the fact that we are free will, and that's a beautiful thing actually when we stop and think about that.
Because other planets are not free will.
Right, there are planets that I've seen that are almost prison. I call them like prison realms, prison dimensions. Yes.
Ooh.
And there are planets that are, there are some planets that are very, very much more evolved than we are, that are very, everyone is in harmony and gets along. So, and I think, of course, we're going to miss that energy. Of course, you're going to miss that frequency, right? Where it's just very smooth. And
Or bring it here.
right. So, and that's the key, I think, to bring those frequencies back in, to release. There's a frequency I call the sickness of humanity, and it's in our DNA. It's in our cellular level. And that's what we get uncomfortable with.
And that started with the fall of Adam and Eve, the Atlantis.
It goes with all
the duality.
It goes in all the duality, the destruction energy that came in.
Because I think in the very, very, very beginning, I think we were one consciousness, and we were highly evolved light beings in the very, very beginning of creation of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And then because of, like you were talking about the free will, then we got into the duality of things.
Well, it got really complicated. I think there were a lot of other,
beings coming on the planet also.
There were a lot of, there were a lot of other entities coming in to check out our planet, this planet, Mother Earth, and they decided, oh, this is kind of great real estate. I think we're gonna try to take hold.
And how I feel like they did it was because since we did have free will, some of the free will people thought, well, I want more power. I want more of this.
Right.
This entity's gonna implant me with something and give me more power than the other.
Well, what I find too is there's a lot of agreements that are made, on a spiritual level that people aren't aware of, and it can be even made by your ancestors, where maybe these entities kind of tricked people, maybe like, hey, I'll protect you, or I'll make
what?
I will do, or I will help you become more prosperous, but hey, I want to hang out with you and your family for ever.
For hundreds
Forever
of
and
years.
ever. And the thing is, that person may not have known that, hey, but these entities are extremely destructive and they feed off negativity.
So when you talk about entity, you talk about not a human form. You talk about
energy?
Is it an energy that attaches?
It's both, actually. They can take form too.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of it, what I see, is
so
non-physical.
So my great aunt is, no, I'm just kidding. I'm teasing.
Oh my God, how funny.
Or you're at,
Our great aunt?
No, I'm kidding.
That's another subject.
Not my great aunt. I'm saying, for example, my great aunt could have been something like, mine wasn't, I'm just saying.
Or it could be like, say, your great your great grandparent was going through a really rough time. Maybe their family was starving, and this entity came in and said, "Hey, I know how to model and I know how to manifest, and I can get food for you, I can get money for you. Here's the deal, though. I want to be able to hang out with you and your family, as long as I want."
That sounds like the devil.
A little bit.
Like a Twilight
Zone. A little bit, yeah.
Like a Twilight Zone.
A little bit.
Well, you can call evil whatever you want to call evil. But evil.
Yeah, I don't. It's
evil intent. Let's just say evil intent.
And it's just like we always talk about.
No, but it sounded.
Yes.
Like,
No.
nowadays how we talk about vibrational, frequencies, and it's obviously not a vibrational fit, if you're, trying to evolve, these entities. So when they came in, they attached to a lot of people that were unaware, and sometimes they attached before Earth, before they even got to Earth, actually, and just kind of made it like, oh, I know more than you. So they kind of took seniority in a sense on a lot of people. But what I'm finding, like in how it affects our lifetime now, is that, like you'll hear family go, oh, people will say, well, my family, it's been generational, like certain issues. A lot of times when I work on someone, it dates back to their ancestry.
Right.
And so what we have to do is we have to go in and we have to cut those lines from all the past lives. And we have to go recreate things, and we also need to recreate the karma. So we can break that karma and free the person. And what I like about it too is it frees the future generations. So we just go in and we free everyone up. And again, it's the beauty of it is we're actually able to do that now because of our free will.
And who is helping you from other planets? Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really, like when I do the intergalactic work, that's for me, that's just been my experience, that's probably the deepest level I've worked on. There might be more out there, but I'm just speaking from my own truth as I know it right now. And who knows? More information may come out tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
but right now,
keep evolving.
but right now, this is
keep evolving.
But right now, this is how I try to word it to make it simple for people because I like to teach. So I try to create it as simple as possible.
Because it's very
it's
complex.
very complex.
Yeah, and for
It's
myself,
very
I
complex.
get kind of confused because one of the things that you said was before we even came to this planet.
Yes.
So if you put that in the perspective of how people look at our lives on this planet, it's like you live in this physical body, and then you pass over into a spiritual body. So then, outside of that realm, you're saying that before you even came to the Earth plane,
Yes.
or came into this consciousness of incarnating into an Earth plane, there was this whole existence prior.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Absolutely.
The concept of it gets very. It's like layers of an onion, very, very deep into how
Absolutely.
far it can go, and you kind of every once in a while I kind of go.
And there's so many dimensions.
I know, right?
I kind of blow a fuse because I'm like, wait a minute, how do I wrap my head around that?
Yeah, but when you were talking, I was thinking, and there's so many dimensions also.
Well,
Right.
There's so many dimensions and
it's-
layers of it.
Right.
And it's just like
Oops,
science.
excuse me.
It's just
Sorry,
like science says now. They've pretty much proven we live in hundreds. There are hundreds of dimensions that do exist simultaneously.
Right.
So it's beautiful. I feel because I feel like science and spirituality are merging, which is going to contribute to beautiful healing physically with people's physical bodies. Because I believe all of these things affect us physically. And whenever you need to heal something that's already manifested physical, you need to go back to the spiritual root, so that you don't manifest it again,
Right.
or into something else. Actually, you
And-
can manifest into
Yeah.
another
Right.
ailment.
Yeah.
And because we
Yeah.
are physical beings and we're all energy, because everything is energy,
Right.
emotion is energy, injury is energy, everything
Right.
is energetically based, it makes a whole lot of sense that it gets locked in the system and goes back
Unless
to...
but we can
Right.
release it.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we can release it also through breath.
Mhm.
There are
And
many modalities, absolutely.
But we need a teacher to give us the tools.
Right.
Right.
And
It's
that's and that's where we talk about like that's why all of us teach workshops, and we have colleagues that teach
To give
workshops
tools.
to give you tools to help you on your path and on your spiritual journey of healing. So when I found the tools, like I said, I felt like it just saved my life. Really, I
Yeah.
felt like it just totally saved my life.
Yeah. And one of the key things I think is for us to look at things objectively. We always
Neutrality is so important. Oh my God.
Huge. We always take
Yes.
things so subjectively. And
Yes.
years ago, I went on a retreat years ago in the mountains,
Uh-huh.
and the whole thing was to look at things objectively, and they were saying pain and pleasure are the same sensations on the body where the energy gets stuck. And if you could just, through breath, look at it objectively and then just allow it to pass easily, effortlessly. Allow it to pass. Just look at it so it's like a release.
Yeah.
Right.
It-
Another way of
Absolutely.
saying that would be to not take things so personally.
which is so
Yeah, don't take things
Right.
personally because usually they're not meant personally. It's just that person's doing whatever it's doing and it's not really meant for you. You can look at it objectively and not take it personally and be defensive. it's easier to
Well,
dissipate it.
Like years ago, I ran a business, and how could I not take it personally? This man was just hollering at me. I mean, him and his wife came in, and he was just hollering so bad that I had to go in the back of the restaurant. And the wife came back in the back, and she said, "I am so sorry. My husband has cancer in his brain."
Mm-hmm.
So how,
never know.
and you can't take anything personally if the person doesn't even know you. Why would you take something personally? Although it's like really difficult to do until you learn that you can't take people's if somebody really knows you well and they're saying something constructively, then you say, "Oh, thank you. I'll take a look at that."
But then it's also directed from an intention of love,
Right.
versus just like throwing out a criticism of
Right.
like, "Oh, you suck. Oh, well, thanks
Right.
for that. What am I supposed to do with that? You suck too."
No, but it's real energy, but it's real energy, and I've learned if you could back up from the energy and literally, if it's because it's real energy hitting at you, but all you have to do, and somebody's like coming at you like that, is back up and then mentally slice the energy and leave it to the other person.
Yeah.
Let that energy,
Right.
because has nothing to do with you, but literally take a step back and visualize slicing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's that easy, that simple.
Yeah.
Or if somebody's like really hollering at you, then you just cover your
Solar plexus.
solar
Yeah. You
plexus.
just
Yeah.
cross your arms.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
take a shutdown posture.
Yeah.
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 And then, the meditation tools too, where you visualize protection and you visualize, things like that. And it's, it's not that that's 100%, but it does give you a buffer.
Right.
It
Yeah.
does. Because,
Yeah.
let's face it, we live in a complex planet and there's a lot of energy flying around. No matter where we go. You go to, Costco, oh my God, you're going to get hit with
Well,
energy.
right.
It just
Those
doesn't matter.
giant
It's
Well, when I do readings, I protect myself.
yeah.
But one time I was doing a huge amount of readings, and I just let this person come in, and I was just on a roll, and I didn't protect myself. Well, I got so sick for an hour and a half. I literally fell on the floor, and I couldn't do any more readings for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
What that taught me energetically was you can ask your angels to put around a solid, thick glass shield, titanium, around you permanently. And I show like some of my students and clients, I go like this. I say, "Can you feel my energy like trying to push you over?" They say, "Yes, we feel like it." And then I says, "Well, imagine a really thick glass around you, really thick. And you can ask your angels to put it around permanently." And then I go, "Just imagine it." And then I go like that. And they say, "Well, we could still feel you a little." I said, "Well, then have them make it thicker, stronger this way." And then they can't feel my energy trying to push them over. This way, you can give out your love and the goodness that you want, but other people's energy can't permeate you. So that's one of the tricks.
I like that.
Or
Positive
that,
and
positive.
Well,
Or
yeah.
even putting trees around you.
Yeah.
Thick. If
Yeah.
you're a nature person,
Organic's nice.
thick trees around you,
and-
to absorb the energy.
And what I do too is at the end of the day, because in one of the previous shows I was talking about grounding and protection. But at the end of the day, I like to let my protection roses or trees, go down to the center of the earth, and then I renew them the next day. Or if it's thicker glass, just make sure you clean that off at the end of the day.
So you can see
all
through
the
it.
energy that's been. You need to window wash yourself.
Yeah. But
or just put
There
the angels and fairies to work.
There you go.
going back.
No, I
No,
know.
thank you.
No, I
Yeah.
know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because otherwise
No,
it's going
really.
to get cloudy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I just want to go back because we're going to close the show in a second. But going back to the interplanetary stuff, can
Yes.
you just say where you have gotten so? Because I know when you were talking to me,
Yes.
you said I was beyond where you have been working.
Yes.
So
Wow.
Yes.
yeah, outside of the realms in which
Whoa.
she has actually, so she
Can
didn't
we talk about
she
this?
didn't even have a name for it.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I didn't.
So well, maybe we should do that.
Let's do the next show.
Okay.
I'd love to hear about it.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
All right, you're going to have
All
to tune in for our next show.
We'll see you next time.
Oh my God.
Have a great
fun.
day.
Have a great
Bless
time.
you.